Welcome back to another episode of Key Factors Podcast. I am your host, Mark Jones, and we are sponsored by ReviewMyMortgage.com, which is the largest index of mortgage programs nationally. And today I am covering a topic that I believe is very relevant for the last 2 years in our industry, and that is the builder lender. Today I have Kasey Hampton, who joins me from DHI Mortgage. Kasey, how you doing?
Freaking fantastic, homie.
Fantastic as always.
Yes.
And glowing and beautiful as always as well. Loving it. So, Kasey, the reason why I'm bringing you on today is because, in my opinion, you have the most experience. Mm-hmm. You are one of the top professionals, in my opinion, when it comes to builder lenders. Mm-hmm. You're not the run-of-the-mill builder lender, what perception seems to be for builders. Mm-hmm. So if you can, just a quick introduction, tell us about yourself and where you came from and what you're doing now.
Thank you, Mark. You're so awesome. So come from, born and raised in California, and been out here in Texas for quite some time now. Been in the business 20 years. So I've started off as an assistant loan processor, operations, been a branch manager and loan officer. So I've pretty much covered the whole gambit of,
absolutely,
positions in the business. So pretty well rounded. Just not been a realtor. That's it.
Hey, man,
not going to happen.
Me neither.
No, let them do that.
Absolutely. So as of right now, you're with DHI Mortgage, and that's where I met you. I was upstairs at Academy Mortgage, and we developed a quick relationship, and I learned a lot from you, actually. So that being said, how long have you been with D.R. Horton, or DHI, I'm sorry?
I think this year is going on 12 years.
Good deal.
Yeah.
So I guess to start, let's just go right into it. Mm-hmm. Why builder lender? Why did you choose to become a builder lender after what I know, running a branch, being a producer, all of the things that you've done within your career? Mm-hmm. And we've had this discussion. I just want to kind of shed some light on that.
Honestly, I love it. I have been on the other side, outside lender. Mm-hmm. And I love the builder side. Well, I love the builder side with D.R. Horton and DHI Mortgage. First and foremost, the consistency and the stability. As you know, a lot of times in the business, we'll have relationships with realtors and they're not loyal.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times on the retail side, people are trying to average at least 4 to 6 closings a month, trying to at least. And a lot of times these realtors are bringing all their deals to the builder side. So you did your networking mixers, you did your lunches, your dinners, all that stuff on the outside lender side. But then on the builder side, it comes.
Correct.
So ultimately, I just love the consistency and stability. When everybody's crying about the market and needing more refis and stuff, I don't have to deal with that.
Absolutely.
It's just consistent.
What percentage of your business is refinanced to purchase?
0. For me right now, I have the option.
Sure.
But I choose not to, so I just focus on the builders. Now, there are a lot of the loan officers in the branch that do. We call them non-captive deals, non-D.R. Horton deals.
Okay.
But for me, with my volume, I just prefer just to stick with the DHI deals.
Absolutely. And through that, you've developed relationships with realtors. You've developed relationship with other builders, sales counselors, things of that nature, which has led you to the production that you had last year. Was that, let me first tell the listeners what the production volume was.
Yes.
500 units, you guys. That's a ton of volume. Matter of fact, that's more than my entire branch combined, loan officers wise.
Yeah.
And I think we did the math a minute ago, and it comes out to about 41 deals a month.
Probably.
How do you manage?
You work 7 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
And you incorporate the business with your life.
Got it.
There's no, 9 to 3, 9 to noon, Monday through Friday. It's part of your life.
So you adopt the same principles that you once had as a licensed just producer on your own, essentially.
Yeah, we call them a retail loan officer.
Retail, yeah.
So as a retail loan officer, and even when I was a loan processor, I didn't just 501 or 459, I clocked out. Even as a loan processor, I processed for some top, realtors that are still around today. Mm-hmm. And that was always been my work ethic.
I love it. Always. And it's a testament because I hear your name quite often when it comes to deals that essentially started the builder route and then flipped over to non-builder, but they're still utilizing Kasey. And it's a testament, in my opinion, to the service that you provide to them. But I want to dig into the perception of what everybody out there believes the builder lender is. Yeah. And some may be right. Some may be way wrong because they're perceiving things from one aspect of it.
Yes.
So go ahead, take it away.
Yes. So, and I'm going to be very specific. Depending on the builder's lender and the builder, a lot of the perceptions are correct. So I can only speak for DHI, but I'm very familiar with a lot of the other preferred lenders as well. So basically what it is we are set up to help the builder manage their backlog to make sure that their money is right. Bottom line. And they've gotten even more and more strict after reviewing the fallout of deals not closing with outside lenders that came in with all these pre-approvals. When they're managing their backlog, which right now, we're not in a spec inventory. We are in a dirt deal industry right now. It's builders.
Right.
Houses getting built, not on the ground. There's, not enough inventory on the ground. So they need to make sure their backlogs are secure. And so what happens is that we get all these outside lender prequals. And then we as the mortgage company, now that the D.R. Horton put into effect that we have to review every deal that comes in, we pull the credit and it's like a 550, 560. Well, the outside lender gave an approval because they did their simulators and it told them within 3 months, their credit scores were going to be a 600 or a 620. So it's the hopes thereof, not truly a prequal today that could close within 30 days.
Absolutely.
We found a lot of that.
Right.
We found deals where the outside lenders had pulled credit and the credit scores were great. But then when you look at the income, they're actually 1099 right now. They're not even W-2'd.
Right.
Well, the outside lender just saw great 700 credit scores and saw on the application, they have a stable job and never collected docs. So do issues happen with inside lenders? Absolutely.
Right.
But when we knocked out the percentage of deals that came pre-approved with outside lenders and dug into them, there was a substantial amount that were not truly pre-approved. And also there's a lot of fallout. So with D.R. Horton per se, they have created that rule that maybe a lot of, realtors and lenders, outside lenders don't like, which I understand. But because their money is being put on the line to build these houses and pretend that these deals are going to close,
right,
or hopes thereof, they want to have an inside lender that is going to secure their backlog.
And in my opinion, it's also the nature of the game, the business that we are in.
Money.
Absolutely. It ties back to money. And as you mentioned, and I want to spotlight essentially, is you are protecting the builder's interest by making sure that these folks that come through the door are somewhat qualified versus I'm just checking your pulse and making sure that you do have a score so that we can get started on this dirt deal. Because at the end of the day, or let's say at the end of the build, when it's time to actually close on this thing, is that a customer that can close on this deal?
Or also with outside lenders that know something's going to take 6 months to build and they sit on it. And then now the builders say, hey, we're within 45 days of closing, and it starts getting worked on.
Right.
So we have meetings, reports. We have a lot of accountability to our builder internally to where we can't just app a deal and then sit on it for 4 months and just pretend it never existed.
Right.
We have to have certain things apped and collected within a certain time frame.
Absolutely. And I want to get into the things that you do within your process that I don't believe folks understand out there because the perception, and I'm going to keep going back to that as we roll this thing out, but they believe that it's like a machine, which at 41 loans a month, that's damn near a machine.
It is.
But at the same time, you've got your checks and balances that you go through and they are in place, not because the builder is greedy or anything like that. It's just kind of like, why do we request certain deposits to be explained? It's because somebody screwed it for everybody else, essentially. And you get bit so many times, it's time to put safeguards in place in order to protect your interest.
Correct.
So that being said, let's dive into the amount of work that you put into deals. When you app a customer, how long does that conversation typically take? And then what is the next step from there? Is it similar to what we do on our side?
Yeah, you get your online prequal that comes in, you call and introduce yourself and say, let's go over your application. A lot of times what people put on their applications are way different than what their paperwork says. So I get your application. A lot of times people don't even put 2-year work history when it asks for it. So you got to verify the 2-year work history. Go over the credit report. I see this stuff is disputed. This stuff is in collections. Get your letters of explanation to explain why stuff is not being paid on time. Look at the pay stubs. The pay stub says, your online application said you make $10,000. Your year to date shows that you're at $20,000.
Something's not right here.
What's the discrepancy? Hello.
Absolutely.
And you're like, well, I just had a big bonus. That's not really what I make. Okay. So, you really have to dive in the entire application. Okay. I see you're married, but you didn't put the spouse in the application. Texas is a community property state. We have to pull their credit, and government loans. So really just diving in the whole entire application to see how we can get you approved. A lot of times the questions I ask always up front, even though it's not on the application. Well, actually it is, but no, this part's not. Do you currently have any debts owed to the IRS? That's not on the application.
No, it's not.
That should be a verbal question for all loan officers to be asking.
Absolutely, especially with self-employed borrowers.
period.
Period.
No, W-2 also. So even though the application does ask about child support, I still kind of re-ask that question because, there is a difference between, are you obligated to pay and do you pay?
Right. Absolutely.
Oh.
Or the difference between you owe the IRS and is it taken care of? Yeah, it's taken care of, but is it on a payment plan or did you pay it off? And most people kind of side skirt around the fact that it's a payment plan. It's been going and I've been adding to it every year since 2012.
Yeah. Or do you owe the IRS and have you been paying?
Touche.
2 questions.
Yeah.
So I ask these verbal questions up front that tend to be zingers on a lot of loan officers' files at the last minute. Because then you do all your verifications and then you're like, oh, homebuyer owes like $30,000 to IRS. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, So you just got to dig in each and every single file and interview them. And sometimes, unfortunately, now from the builder's side, now mind you, I would say probably 80-85% of the deals come to me pre-approved.
Sure.
So I'm digging in harder than their current lender. So the biggest thing that I always hear is, I didn't get asked these questions from my current lender. My current lender, you guys want too much. All I had to do was turn in a pay stub and a bank statement. You guys want too much. You're asking too much. And I'm like, and so that's the constant conversation I battle with. Probably, I don't know how many times a day.
And I can absolutely see that happening because of the lack of, I can't even say effort, the lack of expertise when it comes to the retail side of things these days. Everybody wants to win the deal. So they shoot out the approval letter without getting the documents. I mean, that's a requirement here at my branch, but I can't speak for everybody. So when it comes down to, I have a borrower that I've been working with, let's say for, 4 months to get their credit score up.
Yeah.
And have the borrowers pay stubs, W-2s, the whole 9 yards, but they end up going to the builder side of things. It's just kind of the nature of the beast.
It is.
There's really nothing that we can do other than hope that the borrower is loyal in that sense. But then you fall into a section of incentives that we really have no control over.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah. So let's dive into that part of it. The incentive piece, definitely it's an advantage, but I want to hear from your perspective on that scenario, the incentives, where they come from, how they work, and why it's tough to compete with them.
So with DHI, and I specify DHI and D.R. Horton, the incentives, contrary to rumor or belief, the incentives are not rolled into the purchase price. The incentives are not affected by the interest rates either. Whereas I know other builder lenders, it is.
Right.
So if a builder is giving, or our builder, D.R. Horton, is giving $6,000, $7,000 towards closing costs for using DHI Mortgage, our rate is going to be competitive and it's still going to either beat yours or match yours.
And that was one of my questions that I had here was, do you, and you can only speak for yourself, do you guys have better rates, lower rates, or lower margins, or is it really the same thing?
It's like a compilation of everything.
Correct.
So we are nationwide, so we're going to have deeper pockets, obviously. And we have better margins, absolutely, better spreads. So our rates are going to be competitive, if not beat.
Right.
Right. But obviously, we can't quote rates right now. But
absolutely. But in the grand scheme of things, I want to shed some light on the margin side of things. And if you feel comfortable speaking about that, I want to, emphasize that there is a give and a take when it comes to that. You've got the retail lenders that are making anywhere from 140 basis points to 170 basis points. That costs money for that deal.
Yes, it does.
Whereas you guys are putting in 500 loans in a year. There's no way that they could pay you guys the same that they do us. And still be able to provide that same.
And that is kind of the offset.
Right.
Most builders, lenders from the loan officer's compensation is going to be lower than a retail loan officer because you guys can live off of 4 to 6 closings a month and, do pretty well. Whereas on the builder's side, my income's a little bit different than most, but yes, on the builder's side, you're going to have a lower compensation package because the deals are brought in. Now, depending on what lender or builder you work for, D.R. Horton, DHI Mortgage, we're not assigned communities in San Antonio.
Okay.
So it's a free-for-all. You eat what you kill. Whereas other builders, they have assigned communities. So they really do get anything and everything that comes to a certain community. So my builder with me, it's, you work hard on each deal and you're as good as your last loan.
Gotcha. And you're having to build the relationships with the sales counselors, same as you would with the realtor, or I should say simultaneously with the realtors.
Yes.
I gotcha.
Correct. But your focus is not that you don't care about the realtors, because we love realtors. We need realtors. Anyway, says opposite is crazy. But definitely my primary relationships with the sales agents.
Absolutely. And I want to just emphasize something. She had mentioned her comp plan is different. Well, I don't think the average loan officer working for a builder does 41 deals in a month. And I think that's where you separate yourself from the others, in my opinion.
Correct. They don't. I've been around a long time though. But I put a lot of work. So,
absolutely. And it shows. It shows. Yeah. So that being said, let's dive into, let's see here, outside lenders. How do you feel about outside lenders? Truly.
Love them.
Okay.
I've been one. I respect it.
Right.
I don't hate it. I feel bad for them, to be honest with you, because I know what it's like to be on that side.
Yeah.
And you had to cultivate that relationship and build that relationship with the realtor. And you worked hard with those buyers. You built those relationships, and then they go somewhere and you just can't beat the incentives and the rate.
Right.
Or you possibly take a bunch of hits inside just to try to match the rate.
You're correct. Yeah.
But then you can't cover the closing cost.
Absolutely.
So I feel bad because I understand all sides. But then I don't feel bad because I know it's the nature of the game. So
That's correct.
When I'm working with a deal and I have a relationship with a realtor and they go to another builder, I know I can't compete. Even though I'm a builder's lender, they went to a different builder. So I lose internally myself.
Yeah.
But I get it.
And I think that point that you just made there is something that most don't think about, which is just because they are with XYZ builder doesn't mean that something can fall through and they have to go to another builder. And at that time, they don't get the opportunity to stay with you either. They have to go through the same kind of rigorous restraints that the builders have put in place to protect their money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that concept right there.
Oh, I lose a lot of deals too. They want houses that are closing faster. They find better deals, better incentives, what they feel better somewhere else, and they're gone.
Yeah.
So me knowing the market and the industry and how fleeting everybody can be, especially with realtors and their buyers or buyers, period, I like the builder because I know that consistency is there.
Absolutely.
And that's what I appreciate.
And when we had conversations in the past and trying to get you over to this side again, it's like, nah, I'm going to go for the consistency. And I totally get it. It makes perfect sense.
In the future, I mean, you never know what's going to happen. You know, if they one day, they fire me, shoot, I don't know. I'm always going to be open. But until then, I try to be ride or die DHI.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And I tell you, I can't be upset at that. I think what you're doing and what you're able to provide to the customers, in addition to, matter of fact, that leads me to the next topic, which is when you are pulling credit for someone that, let's say, has a little bit of work to do. I remember back in the day, you guys had a separate division that would help them with their credit. Do you guys still have that?
We do, and it's got even better.
Okay, gotcha.
It's called the Homebuyers Club.
Very good.
They're amazing. And the reason why it's gotten even more amazing is because the person that runs it now used to be on our operations staff.
Gotcha.
Used to be a team lead for the processors.
Yes.
So she understands the mortgage side. So she understands also what to look for on the credit report and what the underwriter is going to be looking for.
Right.
So she's
what
just
needs to be removed before you go into underwriting.
And I love it. It has just, the whole department has just really gone up times 12. It's amazing. And cheap. Cool. I think it's like $49 or $50 per family.
Oh, that's
one-time
awesome.
Charge, and they work with you for up to 12 months. They do the same thing. They do the rapid rescores, run simulators, remove disputes, the dispute verbiage.
Right.
The death, the devil.
Exactly. So that being said, I believe you are also one of the loan officers, a testament to who you are and what you do, that can see certain things because of your experience and expertise that can guide the customer to almost double check what they're being told on the counselor side of things.
Yeah, we have to. Just because you have, the goal is that just because you get somebody that comes into you with challenging credit and then you do refer them to the Home Buyers Club, the goal is to not just kick them to the curb after that. It's like, okay, you're going to be working with them on your credit. It looks like it might be 4 to 6 months, maybe 8 months. But in the meantime, don't have any cash deposits. Don't open new lines of credit. Don't change jobs. You still got to give them the do's and don'ts. And then based on your income today and where you're at today, you're going to qualify for $250. Hey,
absolutely.
When you graduate from the program, then we're going to reevaluate your income to see what we're working with. But that's where you stand as of today.
Yeah.
Do they follow through and listen?
Not always.
We hope and we pray for the best.
Buyers are buyers.
They're interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I like looking at it that way. So I want to dive into the difference between, let's say, a mom and pop type lender. I'm sorry, builder lender or builder versus a DR Horton or larger builders, and the way that you guys carry yourself in regards to the amount of volume that comes through there. versus a mom and pop lender or builder lender has the ability to try new things, different things of that nature. Whereas you guys, it's coming in already. So you've got to have a pretty elaborate process in place to handle all of the volume.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot more meetings than most companies. You know, the builders are going to have their meetings with the sales agents. We have our meetings with our management team. We have meetings with the processing team. So compared to a retail branch, we're going to have a whole lot more meetings, reports, accountability than the normal, where people can just, you know, do a quickie here and there and then push everything to the side. Like there's just a lot more reports and meetings and accountability to deal with this machine.
Absolutely.
Which has kept DR at number one for, 12, 13 years now.
Absolutely.
Yes.
No. And they are top notch, even when we deal with them, when we are the outside lender. And I take it back to when I was semi-preferred lender to a local builder here, and they weren't as large, nowhere near as large. They had just moved here. And the amount of meetings and phone calls that I had to jump on for these loans, it truly detoured me from wanting a builder account.
Yes.
So I want to talk about if a lender, manager, broker is out there wanting to dive into the builder side to attain an account, a builder account, what are some things they should be looking for or running from?
I wouldn't say running from, because I think any builder you can try to get yourself attached to and become their preferred lender is a blessing.
Okay.
So you just have to be set up with the manpower. You have to understand that you're not going to be a 9 to 3, 9 to 5 loan officer. You're going to be looking for strong loan officers that can multitask because that's everything. Because you're getting calls from realtors all day long, the husband, the wife, you're dealing with an abnormal volume.
Sure.
And these are also the reasons why a lot of preferred lenders for builder accounts have high turnovers.
Sure.
And I'm sure you've heard of some of these
Absolutely.
builders.
And we can get into that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's very high turnovers because it's not, you can find even in your office, I'm sure you have great loan officers that can handle 6, maybe 10 closings a month. And they're great. They come to our side and
they get eaten alive.
We need you to leave a blood sample.
That's
and
right.
Your family and your life at the door because we're going to be, we're going to take it over.
Right.
But it's fun and it's awesome at the same time. And I can only speak about DR Horton. I'm going to be honest with you.
No, and I appreciate that.
I'm going to be honest with you. It doesn't sound cheesy, but my coworkers and my sales agents are like friends and family.
Sure.
So not only are we just talking and texting during business hours, but we're talking and texting late at night. I know their spouses. We're talking and texting on the weekend. We're hanging out. Most of the times you don't hang out with your coworkers because you're kind of like,
right.
God bless you. I'll see you at work.
Absolutely. Yeah.
No, it's just, I work with a different breed of sales agents that are seasoned and amazing.
Whereas you would think that because of the high volume, the amount of levels to the management system and checks and balances, that it would be very compartmentalized. And it doesn't seem to be the case.
For me, no.
Okay.
For other builders.
Who knows?
And lenders, yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, but for me, no. It's literally a relationship and family and friendship. So, I care about them having deals closing. They care about giving the deals to me. It's a back and forth. But it is your lifeline.
Absolutely.
But just to clarify, it's your lifeline if you want the volume. That's the beauty of also being on the builder side. If you don't want to be a high producing loan officer and you just want consistent volume and you want to close 15 to 20 deals and that makes you happy, you can.
Sure.
You don't have to be a high producer. And that's the beauty of our world, that our world brings in so much business that if you want to just chill, you can. And if you want to be a high producer, the sky's the limit. Yeah. And then all you got to do is reach out to your backlog of all the deals that you close, call the realtors, and tell them, hey, I'm ready to take on some retail business. What can I do for you? The money's out there for you.
Now, do they incentivize you guys in regards to your comp plan if it is a deal that is not given to them by DR Horton?
No.
Okay.
No, it's all valid. It's all.
More deals means
units.
more. Absolutely. Units.
Units. That's it. That's it. So I definitely with my builder and mortgage company, I can. But I am very familiar with quite a few different builders and lenders in town, and it's rough. So anybody that is a retail lender that wants to become a preferred lender for a builder, it's a good opportunity, but you have to staff accordingly.
Absolutely.
Because a builder is going to be wanting to protect their backlog. They are going to have a lot of meetings. They're going to be all over you. They're going to want answers. They want answers then and there. They don't want answers, several days later. There's a lot of accountability because they know that they have other people that they have to report to in regards to their numbers.
Right.
Their monthly numbers, their closings, they have to report to people. So they want the lender and their staff to be responsible enough to be able to handle it.
Gotcha.
It's a very big deal.
So my next transition, it's almost two-part, but go into the first part, which is essentially if a buyer is turned down from you guys, which I used to specialize and still do specialize in turn downs from builder lenders.
Okay.
Do you allow the outside lender to come in and do that? And the reason why I say that is it has a lot to do with the current state of the market, what we're in, COVID, lack of inventory, things of that nature. Whereas it used to be very open to that concept. And I've established great relationships throughout San Antonio and surroundings with different builders for that reason. But these days, because of COVID, lack of inventory, all of the things that I just mentioned, it seems to be a little bit more
challenging.
We'll call it cutthroat.
Yes. Unfortunately, right now, there's more buyers than inventory.
Yeah.
So really, if you're not ready to go, or you're kind of a deal that's going to need a lot of time, they're not really trying to shuffle around multiple lenders to help find them programs or special niche products.
Because they don't have to.
They don't have to.
Right.
Nobody has to. No builder in town. I think maybe one day we might come back to a place where that's going to happen again. Where you know how you on a dirt deal, you would work on somebody's credit while the home was getting built. Like we did that internally.
Yeah.
But right now with the market and where it's at, it's just not a market to where you have time or the ability to let people need to come in ready to go.
And I want to give a little bit of perspective to what we're talking about in, I'm just going to say San Antonio and surrounding areas, which with reviewmymortgage.com, I'm able to discuss and chat with other lenders throughout the country, but we're all kind of having the same lack of inventory shortage. And that being the case, it puts the buyer not necessarily at a disadvantage, but it does put them in a position, like you said, that they've got to be ready to go or they've got to go somewhere else.
Or they have to wait.
Or they've got to wait.
Yeah. I mean, definitely you've got a lot of programs, USDA, down payment assistance programs that are out there to help the customers. But even those programs are very limited, and there are income limits that you have to be under, credit score qualifications, DTI qualifications.
Sure.
Those rates right now have really gotten very high. So it's, reducing the amount that people can qualify for when they're trying to do those special products.
Sure.
Yeah. No, they're not shopping. They're not allowing. I can say that.
Yeah, no. And I'm hearing that from multiple builders. This is not, there's very, very few situations to where they will allow an outside lender to come in, scoop it up and still get it closed. And I believe it has to do simply with they don't need to do that at the moment.
No.
There's very few situations to where builder made a promise that they couldn't keep that's falling out. And right now that'd be the only reason is, hey, we want to save face. And if you can get them done, by all means, take it. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of feel it is kind of nice. It really puts realtors in a perspective that you really need to work harder to get your buyers pre-approved before shopping.
Sure.
Whereas before it was like you had everybody showing up on your doorstep, 490 credit score. And I'm like, okay, before you guys got in the car and went to 25 neighborhoods, did you look into your buyer's credit to see what they could even qualify for?
Are you currently late on anything right now?
I'm just saying. I'm not trying to be extra picky, but I'm like, your buyer wants a $1,500 mortgage payment, which really doesn't exist anymore. Did you ask that before you went?
No, and that's there's nothing wrong with you saying that, because I believe that
it's rough.
This show is intended to pull the curtain back and be raw as can possibly be and transparent with the mindset that we are trying to help.
Yes.
We're trying to give the truth from our own perspective that can maybe help you, not necessarily detour you, but also put you in a position that, hey, if they're saying it, it must be right. So I need to work on my stuff.
Yeah, it's just the biggest thing is just lenders right now just really need to work really hard to get their buyers pre-approved. That's the biggest thing. I get buyers all the time that are supposedly pre-approved with an outside lender, and they're like, I want my payment over $1,500.
Right.
I am not moving forward. Okay, did your realtor know that? Did the lender know that? Pre-approved. I've got several deals right now. Great credit, debt to income ratio is great, qualifying. They have no money. So who gave you a pre-qual to go look at a house?
Right.
So what was the game plan? Oh, well, they're hoping that maybe we can get USDA or, down payment assistance. You make $130,000 a year.
Right.
There's no DPA program out there for you. But your lender gave you a pre-approval letter to go with a realtor to go house hunting. Well, most of these are going to close within 30 days. So how are you going to close in 30 days?
Absolutely.
Great credit, great DTI, but you have no money.
Now, that being said, to go through those checks and balances because you guys offer probably the gamut of programs as well.
We do.
And when it comes to off-program offering, do you guys have overlays that are enforced on those things? On the last episode, we talked about those kind of things.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, we pretty much follow most of the guidelines standard for, TSHAC, TDHCA, SETH, Texas Vet, USDA. We pretty much follow most of the typical protocol.
She spit that like fire, y'all.
Well, I mean, we do. We standard protocol. We don't. So far, I haven't really experienced any bigger overlays or like, hey, this program allows a max of 45, but we'll only go to 40.
Right.
No,
right.
We don't.
Again, it goes back to the current state of the market. You guys don't have an abundance of properties that you're trying to unload. Matter of fact, you have a shortage of workers, shortage of materials, shortage of, I don't know, you guys buying more land?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. D.R. Horton is always stacked.
I can imagine.
They're amazing. They're very smart.
That makes sense. And they have to be almost like 5 years ahead of what's going on.
Oh, at least.
Yeah.
At least it's a minimum of that. They're around for this long and they're positioned for reasons.
Yeah.
And they're very intelligent and they know what they're doing. And so that's why I'm like, this would be a company that I'm like, I'm going to be loyal to.
Yeah.
Because they know what they're doing.
They incentivize, they take care of you. They provide the same program options, a platform to apply those options, and then a name behind it that's super strong.
Yeah. But then also on the mortgage side, because there are other preferred lender builders where the mortgage side is you're getting all that business and you're crazy, crazy busy, but you're miserable.
Yeah. And I was going to get into that, which is what, in your opinion, now you can only speak on opinion. I can only speak on opinion on this, but is there a difference between, let's say, builder lender, that the lender is a part of the builder versus a builder lender that they're separate entities completely?
No, because if you're the preferred lender, you're preferred lender and the expectations are the expectations. I think it's just the relationship that allows you to stick around as long. And I know that for the team that I'm working with right now, my management team is probably now the best management team I've ever worked with. I'm going to be honest with you. They are supportive. They are reliable. They're helpful. They're great to get along with also. Right. And it's not always been that way. It has not. So you can tell the happiness of who you're working with. Our coworkers are all amazing. Everybody really kind of has like the same work ethic. Sure. I mean, you always have ones or twosies. Of course. So I'm not going to try to,
there's no point. Yep.
Being this, amazing flirting unicorn, like everything's great. No. We're not trying to fabricate. But because I have been around for so long and I have seen the ups and downs of management teams, I can say today that I'm very happy.
Yeah,
we have a good on the builder side and also on the mortgage side.
Okay.
So I'm like, you better not go anywhere.
Don't mess it up.
Don't you go anywhere. The problem is everybody is so good that they end up getting promoted and they go to a different region. I'm like, no.
That
I love you. You're awesome.
That totally makes sense.
It does. But as of right now, we're good.
So let's talk about the fact that there is an inventory shortage. And when that happens, supply is low, demand is up, prices go up.
Yes.
So are you guys seeing what we're seeing on the pre-owned side of things, which is appraisal shortages here and there till it catches up, and then appraisal shortages again?
Yep.
So
absolutely.
Talk to me about that. What are you guys seeing on that side?
Same thing. You're going to see appraisal shortages. And, I think the good thing about on the builder side is it maybe not be as cutthroat as on the retail side, to where the seller is a family and they're like, take it or leave it. We've got 50 million people. I think the builder side, especially D.R. Horton, tries to work with you a little bit more compared to just take it or leave it. It came in low. It is what it is. So everything is situational.
Now, would you say, and you can tell me, shut the hell up if you want to after I say this.
No problem.
Would you say that it has anything to do with the fact that there's transparency between the lender and the builder and what these customers have available to help with the shortages and things of that nature? I've always wondered that. Okay.
No, it strictly is on their inventory.
Gotcha.
It's based on their inventory. Like if they have a product or whatever that is high demand, it's going to be based on that inventory.
That makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Absolutely. If they know that this is a hot product that, freaking if they put it back on the market tomorrow,
it'll sell.
3 buyers. Yeah. Yeah, if it's inventory.
And that makes perfect sense. And I think through, it was like mid 2020, we started hearing builders kicking borrowers out of contracts for minimal reasons, things of that nature. I didn't hear too much from the D.R. Horton side, but I did hear it from other builders.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that?
Man,
Isn't that crazy?
I got several of those buyers too from other builders where the price increases had gotten so high that they said, we're going to raise your contract by 40, 50,000. Either you stay under contract or you accept the new, you accept the new purchase price or you got to go.
Right.
So I got several buyers. D.R. Horton did not do that.
Well, and I think D.R. Horton was positioned to where they had plenty of backlog in regards to the materials and things of that nature, whereas the others were utilizing the price of wood as the reason why they're kicking you out. And it's like, wait a minute, did y'all not plan to build this many homes this year and didn't pre-order this amount of wood and all of those good things? But it was, I don't know, it was kind of scary to see from putting my consumer hat on, going, man, if I was in that position, what would I do?
I didn't even know about it until I got one buyer that, had called me complaining, saying, I just got under contract with, D.R. Horton and this is what happened to me. I was like, really? I said, I had never heard about it.
Yeah.
But then I got several more buyers that canceled their contracts because they were like, they just didn't qualify anymore.
Right.
I was like, oh, shoot, it's getting kind of gangster out there with these prices.
Yes, it is.
But, that goes back to, the difference, like you're saying, with D.R. Horton and smaller builders, and the difference is how deep your pockets are. It depends on what you can do. So,
and just to get your opinion, we don't, again, not a factual thing, but do you think it had to do with the inventory or material shortage things or increase in prices, or more so the greed side of things?
No, it's all the above.
Yeah, I would say all the above as well.
It's all the above. You don't want to take a loss when you sell a product. I mean, you're not going to put online a bunch of shoes and clothes that you want to sell and, take a loss.
Right.
Why? Why even sell the product?
Absolutely.
No, you want to have some type of gain from the product that you're selling.
Right.
And if the market is causing you to go into a hole, then you have to adjust. You got to make exceptions.
Yeah, that makes sense. No. And that actually, I didn't even have this down, but it leads me to something that I'm curious about because you don't see most offers written on a TREC contract. It's all builders contracts.
Okay.
So that being said, do you believe that the contract, the way that it's shaped, obviously it's meant or intended to protect the builder, but do you think that they hide safeguards in there for ability for the builder to kick you out of the home, just like what we were talking about? And it's just an opinion because I know that D.R. Horton wasn't doing it.
No, they're not doing it.
Yeah. So
from the ones that I know that did make those changes, I do know that they updated some of the verbiage on their contracts to where if pricing in the market changes, they have the ability to change the pricing.
Right.
But no, we did not.
And that's what I saw a lot of, which is people would complain and then you'd have some point Dexter that would come in and say, hey, the contract states this in section such. Well, I mean, it is what it is. It's the contract. Did you look at what you were signing? And there's a lot of buyers that work with agents that will drop them off at the sales counselor place and then they're gone, Not
even dropping them off.
Yeah, true. Put my name down sometimes, and I don't know if it's an injustice because at the end of the day, they're not attorneys, but they should be able to dissect a contract, let them know or at least read the contract.
That's a different conversation. That's going into realtor. That's a realtor responsibility conversation.
Absolutely.
We deal with so many realtors in different styles. You have those
likewise
dirt deals.
And here I am talking about it. I'm not scared.
I'm not scared. But you got the dirt deal buyers where you never even realized that there was a realtor on the transaction. You've got the deals where a lot of times you don't know there's a realtor on the transaction until like 2 days before closing.
Sure.
And they're asking for like the title company information and where do I send my commission stuff to? And I'm like, oh, there was a realtor. We were having all these problems on this deal.
Yeah, where were you?
We finally got through it together, but hey, thanks for showing up. And then you got those that literally call and text you, like the one that called me, like text me at 7-something this morning, and the buyer just wrote last night at 6:00. You just get a variety, but it would be good to have a lot more involvement because the buyers just kind of need that. They need that liaison. And so that's why I do feel that even though we have sales agents, buyers, that liaison that's supposed to protect them and not just be somebody that's put on for, commissions, that protects them and walks them through the process as a good liaison. I appreciate and I love working with it.
Absolutely.
So I try, I'm not always successful, but I do try to reach out to the realtors when I get a new contract.
Right.
A lot of times I do, and there's times I don't.
I get it.
I
get it.
I'm not going to lie, out of sight, out of mind sometimes. I've been dealing with the buyer so much.
And I think you said it there, out of sight, out of mind. Why? Because they're not present in the process.
No.
And I think that is advice for any realtor out there that wants to improve your production, improve your reach and your impact on the buyer's experience is be involved. I mean, even if it's a builder deal and the sales counselor says, we've got it from here, you say, okay, fantastic. I'll be right here.
Right. Because they should be involved in the walk dates, closing dates, closing times, loan status. You know, like I said, I get those that are amazing. As soon as the contract's written, I get a call, I get a text. I want to call to introduce myself. My buyer just went under contract, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Yeah. Then there's a lot of those. I never even knew they had a realtor on the contract. So
wow. Speaking of realtors, there was a stint, and I don't know if it's still going on, but there was a spot in the market to where it was pretty obvious that you guys as builders, and I'm just kind of lumping you in there, did not need to fight for business anymore for the time period, which that came to light when commissions started going down. It was like, we don't need to pay you 3%, but we can pay you 2% or whatever the case may be. What are your thoughts on that?
The culture for DR Horton, which is the one that I'll speak on, as things were getting reduced, they were one of the last ones to go down.
I remember.
And that is because we do have a love and appreciation for the realtors.
For the realtors, yeah.
So you still have to be competitive in the market. You still have to match the market and what's happening. But we were last in all of that because of how much we do appreciate and need the realtors.
Right.
It's just...
No, and I can appreciate that. And I actually can attest to it as well because my wife and I flip properties. And there's been a couple that we have listed on there. She doesn't take a commission on it, but we've listed them for 2%. And guess what? They still sell.
They still sell.
They still
People
sell.
are upset and they're mad, but the bottom line is the product is going to sell. With any builder, the products are still going to sell because buyers need homes. And when the inventory is low and there's more buyers than inventory, it is what it is. You know, will the market change and turn? I'm sure it will eventually, but this is where it's at right now. So that's why I feel bad when I'm talking to a realtor or a buyer and they're just like, well, we're just going to threaten to cancel if we don't get this and this. And I'm just like,
is that in the best interest of your customer?
Are you sure you want to threaten? Because right now they got 3 people at the door waiting for your house.
That's right.
And it's not a threatening market anymore.
No, it's not anymore. You are correct. And I think people need to realize that. And I don't know how long it's going to last, but it is going to last for a little while.
Yes, it is.
In my opinion, we're going to continue to buying homes to rehab and flip and all that good stuff in the same concept. And I want to compare that for the listeners to the way Kasey's paid. Essentially, she has deals coming in, so she's paid a little less, so she has to do more deals. Same concept with the realtor side of things. I mean, it's almost inherent that if there's a line outside every spec home or every builder open house, chances are, I'm not going to say they don't need you, but at the end of the day,
it is what it is right now.
It is what it is right now, and it's going to sell.
But yeah, I definitely think that for me, being the preferred lender or working for a preferred lender for a builder, to me in my work history is the best way for me. Now, I definitely talk to a lot of retail loan officers and they're just like, I have a lot more freedom. I don't have all that restriction. And I said, you got to do what's best for you in your journey as a loan officer, because everybody's path is different. You got a lot that have ambition to be top producers. Then you got those that just want to have that freedom and consistency and have great paychecks.
Right.
Everybody's journey and desires are different. But I think for me, with the builder side, I love the rush.
Yeah.
The inconsistency. You don't know what you're going to get, who you're going to get. Everybody's a new story, a new situation. It's like a crazy ride. Like, what am I going to walk into today? Like, I don't have a 9 to 5 where you're like, I see Mary and Joe and time to go home. I was like, oh, heck, I got somebody that's going through a divorce. And while they're going through a divorce, they're married, they're buying a house with their girlfriend. And, it's like,
absolutely.
You're just like, everything's a soap opera.
And I think and I say we because I thrive off of that stuff as well.
It's funny.
It really is. We have to be a special breed in order for things like that to, I don't know, light the fire to dig further and to dig more and deeper. Whereas others see that and they go, oh, that's tough work.
Yes.
For me, and I think you feel the same way when it comes to this. You see it as a challenge and you're about to overcome. Yeah, you're about to overcome this and let me show you how type situation.
Yeah.
I think that goes a long way when it comes to the difference between you as a top producing builder lender versus a builder lender,
Yeah. A lot of people sometimes just want numbers and just want to get closings and just, if it's too hard, then that's when it would be able to go out to the outside lender who had more time on their hands, shall we say, to put into the file. But I do think that for a lot of the exceptions that we've made and stuff, we've made a lot of exceptions in a lot of deals, a lot of deals. But no, I love it. And I wouldn't want to leave anytime soon to go.
I love it. I love it. Now, let me ask, do you have any advice? First, I want to say for realtors, and then secondly, for outside lenders when it comes to our current state of the market, dealing with builder lenders, dealing with builders in general, and it doesn't have to be your builder specifically, just builder lenders. Builders.
So starting off with realtors, get your buyers pre-approved first and find out what their payment cap is. Just because a buyer can qualify for $400,000, if they will not go over $1,600, don't waste your time and energy.
Right.
Show buyers what is within their price range. If the preferred lender that you work with says they're pre-approved for $400,000, stop showing them $500,000 homes, trying to make it work, and then making the lender look like the bad guy because they didn't qualify for it.
Right.
That's going to save you a lot of time, energy, and money from a realtor perspective. Now, when you do take a buyer to a builder or a subdivision, whoever they are, be engaged. We already know that a lot of buyers will go around looking at houses without their realtors because it's a weekend, it's beautiful, they just want to hit the street.
Absolutely.
We respect that. But at least, train your buyers to say, hey, if you do find a home, hurry up and get me on the phone or get me engaged. If you do want to go wander and look at houses without me, keep me engaged. So really stay on your buyers.
Right.
And then for the loan officers.
Before we go into loan officers, let's go consumers real quick. We just did the realtor advice.
Yes.
Love that.
Yes.
Consumers. And this just popped in my head, I have a feeling that consumers think that shopping for a builder is almost the same as shopping for a car with different car dealerships. And it's just not the case.
Yes.
Like this builder said that they would do this.
Yes.
Well, each builder has different products, et cetera. So what's some advice you would give to a consumer?
When you're going to the builders, find out, of course, definitely you want to find out the incentives, which is first and foremost great, but you want to find the house that you want to buy, that you're interested in. And know, again, it goes back to the buyer also, know what your price point is. Know before you start going to the neighborhoods. I wouldn't even actually roam around neighborhoods or houses until I know what I can qualify for. Because and I get this disappointment a lot. They look at houses and stuff and they get hyped up and they're excited.
Absolutely.
And they find out the payments are $2,200 and $2,100 and that they have no money for a down payment. And then when they find out what they can really afford is still a beautiful home. But because their expectations are up here and they've seen this, now they don't want to get what they really can get. And they're so down and they're let down.
So I've been using that same example for 7 years at least. Once it kind of hit me is if your buyer says, I'm pre-approved for $300, but I'd like to stay around $250, start at $240, start at $230 and work up because you can never go backwards. A $200,000 home will never look like a $300,000 home and vice versa. So once you've set those expectations, you're kind of crapping on their dreams. And it's tough to come back to reality. In many cases, I would say in most cases, we're still consumers, right?
Yes. And then they end up canceling and they don't want to. So to me, the biggest advice I will always give, which is the most crucial, is get pre-approved first. And not just having your credit pulled, turn in your income documents, because just because you turn in an application, you might have only been working 3 months.
Right.
No schooling history, no work history, great credit. But you don't qualify. You only have a work history of 3 months.
Right.
And there's no, school transcripts that we can use as part of the work history, nothing.
Right.
So it's really crucial to know so you're not so devastated.
I agree.
At the last minute. And usually it comes from me. So I'm the dream killer because I gave you the real deal because I had to investigate your loan where your outside lender was the hero because they said, oh, you're 700. Go look at a house.
Yeah, no, you're reality speaking.
How are you going to pay for that house? What was the plan? Oh,
no clue.
So my payment's more than $900? Yes.
Absolutely.
Do you know how many times I have that conversation?
I can imagine a ton.
It is embarrassing.
And if only they'd use reviewmymortgage.com first. Plug. Shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
No, but really. And I think a lot of folks on the consumer side tend to have been brainwashed with the rate concept versus the options concept. When a customer is trying to understand what options they potentially have, it's a much better conversation for the loan officer to have with that consumer because they understand, and I'm not saying like terms, but it's understand that they have options.
Right. And it also takes a loan officer to take time to educate the buyers that, what you see online is not always the case.
Absolutely.
Or what you see online could be in Hawaii, California, New York. It doesn't apply to Texas. So for me, when you ask the question about how do I feel about loan officers and outside lenders, I appreciate them if they're doing their job.
Right.
That's, to be honest with you, I'm so sorry that they lose the deal to me because of the incentives and other things. And sometimes they just didn't even like their loan officer and they end up preferring to work with me anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is what it is.
But they never talk about that.
Yeah, they do.
They do. That's awesome.
Yeah, they do.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
No, not the customer, the lender.
Oh, no.
Builder took the deal from me again.
Snatched.
Yeah, but why? At the end of the day, it has a lot to do with, and I think you rectified that concept of the fact that deals get taken away from us, but we don't realize, or we fail to realize, that deals also get taken away from you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's at the same rate, but at the same time, it's about where your buyer's looking. Do they want new home? Do those parameters fit within what they're trying to do? Because at the end of the day, there's tons of buyers out there. There's just not tons of inventory.
That's absolutely correct. I would recommend anybody, if you have the opportunity, and to me as a new loan officer, I would recommend new loan officers try to get in a builder lender, because with the amount of volume you're going to do, you're going to be more experienced than probably the normal retail loan officer, because you're going to get more volume. You're going to get more exposure to programs because of the amount of volume you're working with.
Right.
Whereas a retail loan officer comes here to you, fresh out the class, whatever, and they're going to have to go out there and get their own business. So you're going to be training them on marketing and trying to develop them. But while they're getting developed, they're just sitting there.
Correct.
Waiting for a lead and waiting to learn off of the latest leads.
Well, my loan officers better not be just sitting there.
Yes, of course not.
But.
No. But,
No, I totally get it.
Most of them,
And when they transition from the training platform that we give them to shadowing to taking in leads, I tell them now is the time that you're going to have mortgage conversations. At the end of the day, you can read as much as you can go through trainings, but until you start actually applying it and putting yourself in situations to where you're having mortgage conversations, you're not really learning much.
No, you're not. You're learning jargon, terminologies. But when that family comes to you and you have to investigate them because their application really just gives you authorization to pull credit.
Right.
And it's a very prelim story, but it's not the real story.
Right.
The real story comes when you actually talk to this family, and then they tell you they've been on their job application for 4 years. But then when you talk to them and you order the verification of employment, you find out, oh, okay, they took a year and a half
It wasn't 4 years consecutively.
No, it was not. They took a year and a half off and they weren't working. Or this part of the year, they were actually, commission only. Then they went to, cash under the table for a while. Then they went back to W-2'd. You're not going to know that until you investigate.
Yeah.
So that's learning basically how to investigate, talk to people. Unfortunately, it's hard. You can't please everybody. I know I don't.
Right.
You try your best. Sometimes people don't like quick truth because you're telling the truth a lot quicker than their other lender did.
Absolutely.
So you're just like, my lender didn't tell me this and I'm going to stay with them and then those are the ones that we see complaining to the sales agents closer to closing, asking for more incentives because they're like, oh my God, now I'm bringing in $3,000 extra.
Right. They weren't quoted accurately.
Correct. Correct. So what you told them, we have to tell things and do things more rapidly than the outside lender who has all the time in the world to kind of just throw a pre-qual, whatever. We have to do things at more at a rapid pace. And sometimes people don't like that.
Yeah. No, you're right.
They're like,
it's cutting straight to the chase and giving them the raw truth way faster than what your typical would, because I think they believe that if they are honest and give the raw truth and raw expertise and raw advice and opinions and options for that buyer, that they feel like they're going to lose them.
Yeah. Oh, no, they do.
It's weird.
Because the realtors are nervous because every buyer is on Zillow and they're online. So when they're putting all their information online, they're getting all these people trying to reach out to them, from lenders to other realtors trying to get their deal. So they're just trying to get them locked down under a contract so they can and then here I come.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, all right, let's talk about the truth.
Yeah.
No, your payment's not $1,200. And yes, you need to come in about $10,000. What are we going to do?
Yeah.
What's the plan?
Absolutely.
Nobody ever told us this. And you're just like, I believe you.
Well, here's why.
Yeah, here's why.
And we can't really talk about those things because it's still customer service and all that jazz. But I think the consumers listening, the realtors and lenders listening, that's the reason why right there.
Rip off the Band-Aid. We're going to be reaching in and saying, okay, now I need you to ask so-and-so to co-sign to try to help you because you already wrote a contract for a house, you fell in love, and now I'm killing your dreams. So to make your dream happen, I need these 5 debts paid off. I need you to get a cosigner to try to help you qualify for this house, non-occupying cosigner. Like, this is all the avenues that I have to try to overcome to try to make this. And then in trying to keep their dream alive, they're just like, I didn't go through all this with the other lender. You're making us go through too much. They said it was going to be hard going to the preferred lender. You guys are going to make us go through too much, but really we're not making you go through too much. We're following the same guidelines that the outside lender was going to have to follow if they worked on your file.
If they proceeded with this loan the way that it is. Absolutely. And I agree with that. And I think that we as retail lenders miss that portion. And you mentioned it, is you guys fast track the honesty, the truth, the transparency of that process because you have to. And it puts the buyer in a situation that, look, you can pay this off, get rid of that, do this. Here is the option you have in order to qualify for this home. I'm sorry that they didn't give it to you, but you know that from a consumer standpoint, that builder lender is giving you the raw truth because they too get paid for that deal. They're not going to tell you something that doesn't add up to paycheck, you know? And again, I keep going back to the testament, but it is a testament. And there's a reason why I picked you to come on this, to talk about this with me.
Yeah. It's rough.
Is there anything that you'd like to add in closing this bad boy out?
Get your buyers pre-approved.
Get your buyers pre-approved. And I think that is the
expectation.
Absolutely. So Kasey, thank you for adding a little bit of perspective to the perception of what people believe out there in the market on all the shift talks and all the different things that we're seeing online on the line.
Yeah.
I think there was a lot of enlightening things that most don't get to hear because they either haven't established a relationship with a builder lender or they don't care enough to join their buyer along that ride, that 6-8 month process. They just drop them off and let them go. So again, thank you so much for joining me on this. It was a good discussion.
Thank you.
And I'm sure I can have you back for different discussions where we're not talking about builder stuff. Yeah. We can go, but guys, if you got anything out of this, please make sure to share, like, subscribe. We are going to be dropping the live video versions of this in April at the launch of the new ReviewMyMortgage.com version 2. But again, this is Key Factors Podcast, sponsored by ReviewMyMortgage.com, the largest index of mortgage programs nationally. And we will catch you on the next one.